Alright, I'm back. This is really my first attempt at this. I don't really know what I'm doing. But I'm unemployed. I love gaming. Maybe I could find a way to survive until I can find a new job. Maybe entertain, help some people who are new to Return of Reckoning. I'm not a super encyclopedia, but I've learned a lot recently. The last year or so, hopefully I can make some of this stuff less confusing, because most of it is just text right now. It's an old game. It's a fan-run server because the live game closed in 2013, 2014, something like that. And actually, I don't even know if it lasted that long. It might have been like 2012. So a lot of the information that is out there on the web, outside of the official wiki, is quite outdated. The devs currently running the show have been making a lot of changes. I mean, honestly, the amount of work that they've done is pretty amazing for a bunch of volunteers. They've been creating new content, dungeons, and they've been updating some of the mechanics. You know, they've changed quite a lot from when the game was live, and most of it's for the better. It's like any MMO, though, especially an MMO with PvP in it, which this is primarily PvP. Balancing things is incredibly hard to do. The math involved and all the possible permutations of enemy groups, classes, specs versus, your group of it's got to be hundreds of millions of permutations. It's insane. And they're doing their best, for which I thank them. So that's that. Right now we're doing an event. I don't know if this was part of live, but they do this around Easter. It is the, what do they call it? The Eastern Wyvern Hunt, and you have various tasks. You hit, for me, it's K to open the Tome of Knowledge, and the bottom tab down here is where the current weekly or bi-weekly events are. So, for running dungeons, this is your influence. I've only run one dungeon this week, so I've only gotten to the first tier of the influence. And if you hit back, for RVR, I've done a lot of RVR fighting. I've completed that on this character for the week. And ranked, I don't know anybody that actually does ranked. Howling for Blood is the weekend PvP scenario. Scenarios are like, like an RVR scenario, like in WoW, doing like Wrathy Basin or Alterac Valley or whatever. That's what. So this is the weekend Warfront. I don't really do those. It's just like doing like Arena in WoW, where it's their perfect team versus your perfect team. You got to be very sweaty about it if you want to win with any regularity. And so I just don't bother with that. I just like the big. What makes this game so unique is the big open world RVR. Like Winter Grasp in WoW. Imagine if the whole world was Winter Grasp, and you could just just everywhere you went there was PvP, and there were fortresses that you had to take using siege weapons. That's kind of what It's kind of what this is like. The whole game's like that. So, what I'm doing right now is for the Eastern Wyvern hunt. And, so you can see I'm close to the second reward tier here. And one of the things that you have to do is participate in a conflict public quest, which is what this is. This is a public quest. You defeat a bunch of enemies in the first stage. This is now stage 2. For stage 1 was defeat 50 dwarves in this area. Stage 2 is now he had 2 champions. I already killed them, and this is the hero. Now, normally if I was, this guy's like a level 13 plus elite hero guy, and if I was doing this at level 13, I would need a whole group to back me up because he would hit me really, really hard. But I'm 40 and renowned rank 65, so I can solo this one. And so when I finish this, I now have completed 2 public quests. So, and when you complete a public quest, a chest will spawn like this, and you can see it's rolling up here, and we'll see how well I did. I don't know if there was anybody else here at the time. Huh, nobody. So I got a massive loot bag, which is the highest level of bag that you can get out of a public quest or out of an RVR lake. And it usually has, always has a set piece appropriate for that level, in which case it is the Havoc set piece. I'm going to take that. Now, if you were here to help somebody, let's say, it's not really like power leveling, but, you know, set gear is always better than blue or green, you know, just random drop gear. It's the same as like any other game, right? You want the tier sets in WoW because the other green stuff or the stuff you get from just like quests is kind of crap. So if you're trying to help somebody and they get to about this level and then they need help, you can go up and before, I have to wait till it finishes here because we have 1 minute and 45 seconds before it resets. But once it resets, there's a little gold chest up here, and since none of this stuff is useful for me, I can opt out of bag rolls so that, especially if it's just me and like one other person, that person I'm trying to help is guaranteed to get the gold bag. I won't accidentally steal the gold bag from him and then waste it. So that's cool that they have that feature. I don't remember if that was on live. The current devs have just changed and done so much quality of life upgrades that and I only played the first year of release and some of the beta before that. Actually, I played late alpha, early beta of this game, and then I played for about 4 months, 5 months after it went live, and then my WoW guild all quit and went back to WoW. We had come to this where we're like, we're gonna rock this game, and they were like, we're bored, we want to go back to WoW. So I went back to WoW with them because once they left, like I didn't really know anybody in this game, and it's like, MMOs are social exercises. You want to have people that you know to play with. I mean, that's the whole point of MMOs. So I went back, and then in 2020 when the pandemic hit, and I was laid off then too. Yay. I work in office furniture, so people weren't buying a lot of office furniture during the pandemic. And I got laid off now because of some health issues that have prevented me from working a full schedule, and my employer recently decided he really needed somebody who would work a full schedule. So here I am, trying to figure out how I'm going to pay for Cobra, so that I can keep getting the, you know, medical attention that I need. And playing Return of Reckoning, killing people. So right now, right here. So opt out of none, all bags, or gold bags only. So I could do that. You know what? I should probably do that just in case. Because other people. So the other thing about public questions is cool is you don't have to be grouped with people to participate in them. So if another group shows up and starts killing stuff, you know, they're getting contribution too. So even though I'm solo, I could still steal a gold bag from them if I don't opt out. And I don't want to do that. Because, you know, I want new players to come in and have a good time. We don't want them to you know, be like, what the heck is going on? Why don't I ever get anything? This game's too hard, blah, blah, blah. Because it is, a lot of the mechanics of this game are very early 2000s. I mean, this game was released in 2008, and it was very much similar to vanilla WoW and EverQuest 2, and I don't remember what else was going on there. I think this was right about, it came out right at sort of the end of Burning Crusade, like right about when Wrath of the Lich King was released. So it was developed when, you know, vanilla WoW was coming out. This game was being worked on, and it was made by the same studio that did Dark Age of Camelot. And they used a variation of the engine that they had created for Dark Age of Camelot. And then their company got sold to Electronic Arts, and of course Electronic Arts did what EA always does, they ruined it, and they forced it to be released too soon, and then they decided this game isn't profitable enough, and then they canceled it. So, you know, they ruined their own stuff, and I don't know why they do it. They're just too stupid. They don't understand that business is not about instantaneous return. You know, sometimes you actually have to invest, and then, you know, keep investing for a while, and then you'll get the rewards later. And they didn't do that, so whatever. They just do that with everything. You know, they got Star Wars: The Old Republic, ruined that. I can't think of a single EA game that I give a crap about. You know, but they're a sports game company, and they buy up these fantasy, sci-fi MMO titles, and they don't understand that it's not just sell a bunch of boxes and make profit, like, you know, for a console game. They don't understand that. Anyway, I digress. So, what else can I say about this public quest? These are what we call morales, these 4 flashing buttons to the right. The longer that you are in combat, it builds up. There are various abilities that some classes have that will modify the rate at which you gain morale points. There are other classes that have abilities that drain your morale points. So I have reached up to the 3rd morale, and I'm 76% of the way to the 4th morale. And you have different options. These are just the ones that I have chosen for each rank: M1, M2, M3, and 4. There are other ones that I could have used, but these are the ones that I use. This first one is a single target serious debuff. So I'm going to drop it. This claw comes out of the sky and hits the mob. Now he's very debuffed. And the second one I have here, Eye of Sheeran, gives my group, my 6-man party, an armor buff and a lot of resists for the various They don't really have that in WoW anymore, but like elemental resists, spirit resist, corporeal resist. What are the barriers for this? Let's find out. Forget what they are. So you go here, you go to defenses. So spiritual, corporeal, elemental. So if I build up here to M2, it's still on cooldown. All morales have a 60-second cooldown. And I hit that, then my group would get, I think, 1,000 armor. What does it say? 1,320 armor and 504 resist to all my resists for 10 seconds. So it's very good when you know you're about to push into a meat grinder of players who are all just like waiting inside a door to drop a bomb on you as soon as you stick your nose in there. You can hit F2. Now you see I have 920 spiritual, 930 elemental. Oh, it didn't seem to do anything with corporeal. And I had 1,300 more armor than I usually do. So 10 seconds there, I was harder to kill. And this is a lot of rock paper scissors, and like most PvP MMOs, where there's a counter for everything that you do. And if good players will really know the classes that they're facing, they'll learn what the spell effects look like, and then they can hit the counter for that. And then it's just a matter of like who has the best stuff, you know. I'm playing a zealot, which is one of the forces of destruction. There are two factions in this game. Forces of Destruction is an alliance between the minions of the Chaos, the Ruinous Gods, Tzeentch, Nurgle, Slaanesh, and Khorne. And they're very evil forces of destruction. And they are allied with the Greenskins, which are the orcs and the goblins. And they're also allied with the Druchi, which is the weird word for dark elves, who are basically light elves, you know, high elves who got pissed off and broke off, and now they hate each other. So the dark elves, the chaos, the greenskins are mortal enemies of the dwarves, the high elves, and the human empire of Karl Franz. And so I'm playing Zealot, which is a healing class primarily. Every class in this game has a DPS-ish tree. Unlike in other games, most of the time the DPS spec is just never going to be as good as a pure DPS class like a Magus or a Choppa or a Marauder or a Witch Elf or a Sorcerer or a Squig Herder. Because those classes, they don't have a tank spec, they don't have a heal spec. So I can do about, like if I had perfect gear and had more practice, I might be about 75% as effective in a warband as a pure DPS class. Whereas in other games, you know, like a Ret Paladin, they can tank, heal, and DPS, and a Ret Paladin, you know, depending on which patch you're playing in, he might be the top DPS in the whole game, even though he can do all three roles. That is not the case in this game. You can be pretty effective, and since this is primarily a PvP game, the players, what they like to say here often is the players create the content. So how you choose to play the game and how the people you happen to run into while you're out in the RVR lakes play the game is creating the content. It's not a pre-scripted dungeon where you know what, you know, 10 seconds in, the boss will do this thing, and then 5 seconds after that, the boss will do that thing. And when you need to do a tank swap. Da, da, da. You don't know. So sometimes you can run in small groups of just a single 6-man or maybe a 12-man, or even as low as like a 3-man. In which case, hybrid specs can really shine there, because now you're trying to do more with less. So a healer who can also do some DPS, not maximum DPS, but some DPS, can be much more useful in small men than it is in a warband. In a warband, they generally, there's a lot of sort of elite, sweaty snobbery that goes on there, and they're just like, all they want to do is stack the meta flavor of the month classes. Yeah, we only want, we want 3 Choppas, 4 Marauders, 1 Sorcerer, because those are the best classes. And the only reason they're bringing that Sorcerer along is because he's going to give buffs to his group. And it's just, it gets kind of ridiculous in those kind of war bands. So in those, it's very min-maxy, whatever the current flavor of the month is. But, in small man, you can come up with some pretty weird combinations that work really well. And they really, like just yesterday, they did a patch and changed how zealots work. I'm still sort of navigating how those work right now. I'm not entirely sure what we previously thought, best in slot gear was. That may not be true anymore. And then the builds, people are still just trying to figure it out. I don't know. I'm running sort of a hybrid build right now so that I don't have to go back to a trainer in between doing large group and then small group, and I can DPS or heal without having to go back to a career trainer and swap. So see, I opted out on that one, and I only got a green bag, which does not have set pieces in it. It does have a blue cowl, which I'm going to take, and I have salvaging, which is like disenchanting in WoW, and I'm going to salvage this item. It is blue, so I should get a blue reward. I want to get the wounds off of it. You see, if you look at it, it's got 14 willpower, 7 toughness, 5 wounds. So those are the 3 options I have for what material I will get when I salvage it. So I want wounds. And I got a, what did I get? What the heck tab do I have that on? Derp. Oh yeah, so I got Stony Jet Sand, and Murmuring Essence is a generic material that all combinations need. And then Stony Jet Sand, let's see, where did that go? Where did you go, Stony Jet Sand? That will result in a Wounds Talisman of, I think, level 8-ish. Forget what level that will reward. Okay, so let's see. I've done that. I need to do one more PQ to finish that, and then I will be able to achieve. So these, you can get these temporary items that go up here in this slot. You can see this item here is from the previous event several weeks ago, and I have 37 days left before it expires. When I finish this tier of influence for this event, I will pick this one here, and it'll be good for 60 days. There are ones, like if you don't do the events, there are ones that you can get from weekly quests, and those items only last 7 days, so it's kind of like and they're generally not as good as the ones from the big events. So it's good for any character you're serious about to get at least to the second tier of influence so that you can get that nice 60-day event item. And you can get mounts. I think there's Wyvern mounts in this one. I have been unlucky on this character. I was playing my Squig Herder the other day. The very first kill or egg drop that I found that I did had a mount in it. I was like, son of a bitch. And I collected like 150 eggs yesterday on my tank. Nothing. I've collected about 60 on this guy. Nothing. So the Wyvern mounts are pretty rare. And what's cool about this event is like there's a Wyvern you can get with an exotic mount token. Like, do I have one? I don't have one right now. But you know, the exotic mount tokens are typically a 30-day mount, and they're nice because they're not restricted to level 40. So if you get it on like a level 16 character, you can get a level 40 speed temporary mount for 30 days, which is really nice. And this event though has it has the same Wyvern model for the mount, but it has like 8 different colors. So instead of just the generic green, there's like a blue and a red and a black and a, you know, so not only is it just rare to get one at all, if you want to get super sweaty, then you gather thousands of eggs, which is insane. I don't know how you'd even do that. And try to get all the colors, you know, and then just run around doing your what we call fashion hammer instead of Warhammer. It's fashion hammers. Look what I got, just like in WoW, you know. I've got the ashes of a lord. You don't. Neater. And so I smell an egg nearby. Let us see. Where are you, egg? I smell you. Ugh, and they could be anywhere. I've seen them like on tree branches and inside of really. Here's one. All right, so when I click this, I'm either going to get an egg or the Wyvern broodmother is going to appear and kick my ass. Okay, I got an egg. So I'm only 38. And you open it, and you typically, see, I just keep getting dyes, which is cool, because like some of these dyes are rare. The orange-colored names are rare dyes, and they only come from this event. So, like, even if you're not going to use them, you stick them in the bank for like 3 months, and then stick them on the auction house when the supply is low. Cha-ching! And right now, all the people who do that are like, dude, don't give away our secrets, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, it's not really a secret. Everybody knows. So I'm coming around here. Oop, I don't want to fight that guy. I mean, like I could, but I don't want to kill him. Somebody else might come along. In general, the best way to level in this game, you say like you just got the game, and you don't know what you're doing. The first thing you want to do is like the first couple of quests until it sends you to the first war camp where there's merchants and trainers. And then you might be like level 2 or 3 by the time you get there. I don't know. Probably 3. Yeah, probably 3. And when you get there, then you want to go and do RVR, Realm versus Realm. In this case, Order versus Chaos, or Order versus Destruction. Because you have 2 different levelings. If you look up here at the top of my screen, you have Career Rank, which stops at 40. But then you have Renown Rank, which is kind of like, they had that in Dark Age of Camelot, which gives you extra abilities that are like passive abilities, like increased block percentage or increased heal crit percentage, things like that, that work not based upon the gear that you're wearing. They're just passive. They become part of you. Like, they used to have AA points in EverQuest, alternate advancement points. It's kind of like that. And then what they've done, though, is they've also tied certain gear sets. Like, I'm wearing a mix of Beastlord, Vanquisher, and Sentinel. Beastlord and Sentinel are PvE sets that you get from hard open quests, in the case of Beastlord, and the Vilerot Burrow dungeon in the case of the Sentinel set. But Vanquisher is a PvP set, an RVR set, and it requires a certain renown rank just to equip it. So, for example, the shoulders here, you have to be renown rank 57 to equip those. So, by starting your RVR career early, you'll be able to keep your renown rank ahead of your character rank. So, for example, on this character, I did almost exclusively PvP from level 1, because I actually knew what I was doing. You know, like, I wouldn't recommend that if you've never played the game before, but I knew what I was doing. I created the character, I ran to the RVR lake, and I started PvPing right away, and I did nothing with PvP, with the exception of a few public quests like this, just to get the next, like, best gear for leveling in. So when I finally hit career rank 40, I was already renown rank 57, and I only needed one more level to equip the last piece of the Vanquisher set. So I was very well set for endgame, the grind up to best in slot gear already, whereas somebody who had leveled all in PvE doing quests and shit would have, you know, hit level 40 and maybe not even had renown rank 40. So all the gear from RVR, they wouldn't even be able to wear it for a long time, and they would be significantly squishier and underpowered in RVR. The PvE sets are nice, but they're generally not as nice as the RVR sets. So that's something to think about. I went, I guess maybe I should explain what RVR Lake is. So I'm currently in a zone called the Marshes of Madness, which is in a pairing. So they've taken the two factions, Destruction and Order, and each one has 3 races. So it's Dwarves versus Greenskin, Chaos versus Empire, High Elves versus Dark Elves. So Marshes of Madness is part of the Greenskin Dwarf pairing. If I hit this, so here's the Green Dwarves versus Greenskin. I'm currently here in Marshes of Madness, and this area here with this reddish orange, that is the RVR Lake. This is a split pairing, so this part of Marshes of Madness is the RVR Lake, and this is one of the fortresses. And then if I hit this up arrow, Barrack Var is the other half. This orange area is the RVR Lake. And so there's always 2 fortresses in each pairing. This is currently locked. Destruction captured this zone, which is why both keeps are red. And when you capture a zone, then the next pairing unlocks. You see in the tier 3 pairing, this white symbol is for Order, so Order captured the tier 3 pairing. And in the tier 4, this is the current active zone, Thunder Mountain. And this whole area, all this orange stuff, this round circle, a little bit up here, a little bit down here, You have 2 keeps, right? This is the RVR lake. All this lighter tan stuff out here is PvE quests and stuff. So this is currently the only zone out of 3 zones in the Tier 4 part of the pairing. And so whoever wins and captures Thunder Mountain. So if Destruction captures Thunder Mountain, it will become locked. Cadron Valley will become unlocked and contested. And if Destruction wins and captures Cadron Valley, it'll push us to a special zone, which is a fortress. And, well, it doesn't let me see that here. Yeah, okay. But a fortress is, it's sort of like one of these keeps, but much larger and with different objectives and mechanics. And the highest dropped tier of RVR gear is in gold bags from fortresses. There's also City, which is something that happens. It's like on a timer. If you look down here, campaign status. Order is doing better. They have captured more zones than we have. So, in 20 hours and 59 minutes, it'll be an assault on the Destruction main city, Inevitable City. And the city will become unavailable to the players of Destruction during this time. You'll be booted out. All the critical NPCs that you need will spawn in this sort of pass in the mountains outside the city. So, and then you can queue for the scenario of City, where 24-man teams from each faction face each other in sort of like a mini copy of certain streets from the city. And there are different quests that you have to do in there. You have to hold objectives. You have to escort NPCs. So, you know, that's a whole separate thing. The cities, they can also drop in gold bags the highest tier of RVR gear that is droppable. There are several sets that you can only get from collecting war crests in Open RVR, from killing people, and from certain quests in Open RVR.
Move on.
So, let me pick a thing here. Reward. I hit max influence for this area. What does it look like? I don't like those shoulders. So. Sometimes I'll save a lower level item that I get from one of these PQs, public quests, and if I like the appearance, but I don't really care about the appearance of that, so I'll blow it up with salvaging. Unlike WoW, where you have yellow exclamation points, it's these green circles with a book in it. Indicates that there is a quest. A blue circle with like a bunch of books in it indicates a repeatable quest. And green quests are typically weekly quests. There's a once a week thing to do a dungeon with a group entirely from your own guild. Capture a keep in RVR with a group entirely of your own guild. And stuff like that. And then this event probably has some green quests that are weekly. I didn't even look. Oh, yes, I know I didn't AoE. Go away, silly vulture. Nobody cares about you. Alright, so back to here. I'm just going to start dotting here. Get out of here fast. trash. Cast a heal on myself. Cast a shield on myself. Cast another heal. There's a lot of good streamers out there for a game this old. I like Tothmon. He's a really nice guy, and he's like a huge dwarf fanatic guy. He just loves them. I love dwarves too. But what he did is he made an incredible guide for all of the dwarf city quests for the dwarf city of Karazakarak, and also the greenskin city of Karagates. And I think he's actually working on a complete quest of like a guide of every quest in the entire dwarf versus greenskin pairing, like the quest that I'm doing right now. Like he is doing it all. And so, like, I don't know how he does that. I mean, that takes a level of dedication and concentration that I do not have. Huge resource, highly recommend. Just look up Tothmonrad on Twitch. It's just like it sounds, Tothmonra. And, you know, highly recommend that you check out his channel. There's other good guys here. To Shut Kid Up, Uchu, I forgot, I could go on and on. When you sign up on the Return of Reckoning main website, on the right-hand side of their landing page, it'll list people who have linked their streams to the wiki, so you can see who's live streaming. I haven't done that yet. This is my very first one, and I kind of want to see, you know, I'm going to look at it and see how good it is later. And before I link it, I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm literally just clueless. I've been building computers and using computers since 1992, but like social media is not really my thing. I don't really, like, I don't even have a Twitter account. I refuse to call it that other name. I don't have a Facebook account. I don't have Instagram. I just, you know, like, this gaming is the only way that I want to interact with the outside world. I don't want to share vacation photos because, well, frankly, I haven't been on vacation in years. I don't want to tell people what my family are doing because I'm still single, in my 50s. You know, I just, like, the stuff that people use social media for, I just don't, I don't have a desire to do that at all, and I know that diminishes my brand or whatever. What was I saying? I literally just lost my thought. What thought did I have? I had a thought. Dear God, brain. In my defense, it is 11:15 p.m. So anyway, yeah, social media, not my thing. This, you know, I did briefly entertain thoughts of being a teacher after college. I enjoy teaching adults who are interested in learning, not children who are just trying to figure out how they're going to sneak out of their parents' house to go to the party tonight. I don't want to teach those people. You know, just no. So that is why I ended up not being a teacher. And let's see here, we don't got anything good in here. And I'll blow it up. Wait, let's see what it looks like first before I blow it up. Why am I still in combat? It's so-so. We'll blow it up. And what else do I have that I can blow up here? Anything else? Anything? Nope, it's all crap. So I should have completed, to get back to it. Yes, I have now completed the second tier of the special event influence reward, which will allow me to pick. See, if you look here, there's different rewards. So here's one. If you're only level 11 and you reach influence 2, you can take this head item, event item. If you're level 21, you can take this one. If you're level 31, you can take this one, and then this one is for the level 40 people. Like me! And then if you go all the way and you complete all of these other things here, you can pick one of these 2 cosmetic cloak appearances, which I don't particularly like, or a potion of acclaim, which increases your renown gained from kills and from keep takes and battlefield objective captures by 25% for 72 hours. I have a few of those saved up, and like I said, I'm not really interested in the cloak, and generally to get to the last tier of influence, completing all these other tasks is generally like they always throw a few things in there that are really just not fun. For me, some people love it. I don't like doing scenarios, so the whole do a bunch of scenarios part of it, I'm not really interested in that. I'm done with that. I'm going to fly back to Karak 8 Peaks because I'm in the dwarf versus greenskin pairing. This event is about the wyverns, which are orcs, and greenskins use wyverns, so it's a dwarf greenskin themed event. So I'm going to fly to the main city, Karak 8 Peaks, which was not in live. That's another thing that these current devs did, and why Toth Manra had to make a guide was when EA pulled the plug on Warhammer Age of Reckoning, the devs weren't finished with it. The original Mythic Entertainment devs weren't finished with Karak 8 Peaks and the dwarf city of Karak. But the assets had been created for the most part, and the devs here, I mean, I still don't know exactly how they got their hands on all of the assets, you know. They're not allowed to make any profit from it. It's fan run. They literally cannot, even if you wanted to give them money, they couldn't do it because then EA would come down on them like a hammer and shut the whole thing down. So it has to be completely non-profit, but they can, using the original assets, they can like add things. So I guess the architecture in here in this giant city was completed, but like all the NPCs and quests and stuff were not. But you can just take another orc from asset, stick a different name on it, assign a quest to it. I'm drastically oversimplifying this, and that's what they did. Is they just took what was completed and added on to it, and it's great. And then Toth Manra came through and just like, okay, this is a big confusing place, which was never part of live. Nobody knows what is in here. I'm going to make a guide for everybody, which was just, I mean, I can't tell you how cool that is. I used the heck out of it. I still use it. I mean, I've never finished all the quests in here. Because as like I said before, leveling, you want to do almost all of your leveling in RVR so that you can keep your renown rank well ahead of your career rank. And then I just never came back after I got to 40 to do all these quests. I started it on some characters. I've done a lot more of the ones in the dwarf city than I have in in the Greenskin City here. But I need to take a short break, so I am going to pause, and I will be back if I can figure out how to pause a stream. How do you pause a stream? Okay, I'm back. Let's see here. I don't remember what I was doing. Something involving cheese. No. Okay, so I've picked up that quest. What do I have left to do here? That's maxed out. Got that. Put that here. I have so much junk in the bank. Mailbox here somewhere, isn't there? Yes, there it is. I've been using my baby sorcerer as a storage character. So as I fill up with all these dies from the event, I will mail them to him to keep this character's inventory from getting crazy. So that's that. Let's see what's happening in RVR. We look over here at the state of the realm. Let me increase the scale so you can see it. So this is showing, I have it filtered, I'm not showing the tier 1 zones, because tier 1 is isolated from the rest of RVR. Tier 1 is only for level 1 to 16 characters. As soon as you hit 16, so I guess it's really for 1 to 15 characters. Once you hit level 16, if you go into an RVR lake in tier 1, you get turned into a chicken and you can't use any of your abilities, and you can get one-shot by people. Because they don't want high-level, high-geared characters to come stomp on you when you're just learning the game. Once you hit 16, though, you have to leave. You have to go into the tier 2 to tier 4 zones. And you get bolstered, so your stats will get boosted. And they get boosted more depending on how low you are. So like if you're right at level 16, it's going to boost you up to the base stats that a level 44 person, if they existed, would have. And then it boosts the stats from your gear as well. So it really behooves you to get the best gear you could possibly get for your level, so that I just fell and died, didn't I? Well, son of a bitch. That wasn't funny. How do I get down? How do I get up? So anyway, that's why you might want to get like a friend to help you do those public quests and, you know, get the gold bags and all that stuff, so that you can have gear that you might actually survive in. Oh, I'm gonna fall! Splat. Hey, I saw an egg though. Yeah, so best gear you can get, the best talismans, which are like gems in WoW. There are no enchants in this game. There are consumables, you know, like food and like pots that buff your stats for 30 minutes or an hour. Or if you get the super, super cheap ones, they only last like 5 minutes, which is like why I even bother. So yeah, and those are made through crafting mostly, or through quests. So get the best gear you possibly can. You'll get boosted once you're level 16. You'll get bolstered, as they call it. up to that level. It's a little annoying because there's what they call bolster lag. Looks like everybody is in Calidor. You can see the population is somewhere between 100 and 199 order players, and somewhere between 25 and 99 destruction players. They are currently assaulting our keep. In Calidor, the outer door is down to 29%, so that's not good. We appear to have a numbers disadvantage right now in Calidor. Yeah. They're kicking our butts. This is a portal. When we hold a BO and somebody's standing on it, like these two guys were standing on this BO, so that allowed me to teleport to it, as long as there's not a fight currently happening at that BO. BO stands for Battlefield Objective. So there's no fight happening here. We're waiting for a supply box. If you have 2 or more battlefield objectives in your control, supply boxes will spawn. These are used for the fortress, so it will increase the rank of the fortress. It also, like, there are fixed weaponry, cannons and high-angle artillery and stuff like that in the keep. And they have limited amounts of ammo. Every time you turn in one of these boxes, it replenishes some of the ammo of the weapons. It also will help rebuild the door should you manage to stop them from ramming your door. You can run the boxes in and it'll heal the door a little bit. See, right there, it just went from 16% to 18% because we turned in like 3 boxes, but then they hit it again with the ram and brought it back down to 15%. Those jerks! How dare they play the game? I'm going to shrink this back down a little bit. So, this keep has been claimed by the Order Guild Gempire, which is probably they're the evil empire of the game. They're very good players. They have a large guild, and they have the unique ability of getting many other people not even in their guild on the Order faction to do what they say. So they are effectively much larger than their guild numbers would lead you to believe, because there's just, everybody knows if you follow them around and do what they say, you'll win. Destruction has an issue working together. They have a lot of differing opinions and egos that hamper their ability to work as a faction for the greater good, and which is actually completely lore that's like lore appropriate, lore accurate. The Greenskins and the Dark Elves and Chaos, like if you read the books or if you played the tabletop war game, they would never work together. Like, it's just like, and even if they did, the whole time they would be trying to figure out how they were going to backstab each other. So, it's completely lore appropriate the way that the people who are playing Destruction interact with each other. However, it's not very much fun if you just want to win in the game. You know, oh well. So they've gotten the inner door down. This is a keep. Tier 3 and Tier 4 and fortresses have an outer wall and an inner wall. Both of those have a main gate. They have taken down the outer wall already. They've taken down the inner door. The Lord is at 100%, which leads me to believe that we are putting up... Nope, never mind. Whatever defense we had on the inside has collapsed. They are now attacking the Fortress Lord, who is like a raid boss in WoW. His health and toughness is entirely dependent upon the number of friendly players in the area, since apparently we wiped entirely. He's going down pretty fast because everybody died and is respawning all the way back here at the war camp, and they're way out of proximity of the Lord, so his maximum health right now is pretty low. If we were to manage to push back in significant numbers, his maximum health would adjust and it would become harder to kill him. It would take longer. Or if we were even lucky enough to push back in and wipe the order players in there, then we could start running boxes and try to bring the door back up, and it would bring if we brought the inner door back up, then the Lord would return to 100% health. But it's very hard to do when you're outnumbered. They have probably one or two more warbands. A warband is... this game is all about 6-mans, right? So a party is 6 people. And then a warband is anywhere from 7 to 24 people. So, you know, as soon as you hit 6, you have to convert it to a warband, which is like converting it to a raid in WoW. And then you can bring in up to 24 total people. But each one is considered a separate party. So your buffs are only for the 6-man group that you happen to be in. So I'm running solo, so it says that I'm in group 1. And that I have buffs that I can give out, but I can only give them out to the people in my 6-man party. Some people will run in a 12-man, simply because they feel like it's more flexible, and you know, they avoid the bigger fights, and they just try to pick off the edges and find smaller fights. It's just like any other game. The more people that you divide the rewards between for experience and renown, the less each person gets. So a lot of people want to do small groups because the percentage of the pie is bigger for each person. The downside, the risk to that is that when a bigger group comes along, you'll get crushed, and then you'll have to come running back from the war camp. And the meta over the last, I don't know, 6-8 months, a year, has been for very big groups. Sometimes multiple warbands working together. Mostly on the side of Order. They're very good at that. Destro, not so much. And it's made it very hard. There's a lot of people who complain that it's killing the game because their preferred play style is to run around with 3 people and gank people. You know, to pop out from a bush and kill that lone guy who's trying to make it to the fort and join the siege. And they find that to be more fun, killing that one person, than they do fighting in a warband and having to actually like listen to somebody else's orders. That's the biggest problem with destruction, is that, you know, they all have this "you can't tell me what to do" attitude. Meh. I'm gonna go over here and do my own thing, and then we can all lose separately together. It's so stupid. But anyway, you know, this is a mass PvP game, and they're trying to play it as if it's, you know, Call of Duty, and it's a 6-man versus a 6-man in a controlled environment. This is an open environment. There's no limit to the number of people that can be in it, except when you get really, really huge numbers, the server kind of starts lagging a lot, and so that limits it. The maximum capacity in a given area that can be stable is about 300, probably, maybe 350. When you get 400 people all in one location, the game lags like crazy. It's an old game built on an old engine. What can you do? What can you do? More dies. I want my Wyvern mount. I don't even care what color it is at this point. I'm gonna run down here, and you may be wondering, like, there's a delay of about 3 minutes on this stream. And that is because some people have no scruples and they do what is referred to as stream sniping. They will watch your stream, call in your location, and then send their allies to come kill you, using the stream to find out where you are. But if you do a 3-minute delay, then whatever they're watching on your stream is not where you really are right now. So that's why I do the delay. Some people don't. I am not very trusting, so yeah. So where I am currently in the game and what I'm talking about is not what you're hearing. You are hearing me 3 minutes in the past. Going down here. What is this guy? Why is there a guy
What
over
you
here?
looking at?
It's a... I mean, I can get a little experience for it, but I don't need it because I'm already max level. Oh, take your Shadow Warrior snare and stick it up your bum. That's right, I said bum. This is an adult channel. We say bum, and we say tatas, hoo-hoos, and other such vulgarities. Cover your children's ears. He said bottom. Oh boy, do I really want to go to Shining Way? Yeah, screw it. Let's go to Shining Way. So since this is our keep that they are assaulting, I earned enough contribution somehow. I was here earlier. That I have been given a reservation. Fortresses have a limited number of people that they let in there for the aforementioned lag issues. So I have 5 minutes to get into the the Fell Landing Zone. And since I'm a defender, if I go to the main city of Inevitable City, the Chaos City, and I ride through it like this, at the far end, I can move into the Chaos Fortress, which is the Maw, M-A-W, and from there are portals to the Greenskin and Dark Elf fortresses. Fell Landing is the Dark Elf fortress. So I am heading through the city here. You go all the way south through the middle of the city. In the very, very south middle is the gate to the Maw. Yeah, I got like nothing for that. I wasn't in California earlier. Length of time and how many objectives you helped capture, how many supply boxes you did, how many kills of enemy players, did you defend the keep, were you successfully defending the keep, in which case you get a defense tick bonus. You know, all that determines what level of bag and how many renown points and how many war crests you get from a keep. And I was in Calidor for very little time. I'm riding down here, so this is a Dark Elf tent that is letting me know that the entrance to Fell Landing is nearby. That greenskin hut is the entrance to Butcher's Pass, which is the greenskin dwarf fortress. And there is the back end of Fell Landing. Order is waiting outside for the timer to start. They're on the far, far side of the keep. Unlike other keeps in the game, the fortresses, the ram is just automated. And then inside of the fort, there are these 5 battlefield objectives. Whoever controls them is controlling how fast the ram is hitting the door. So if they fail to hold some of the battlefield objectives once they get in the outer door, then it'll take them a lot longer to get the inner door down. And unlike keeps in the regular zones, this is a timed instance. They have X amount of minutes, I think it's 45 total, in which to, you know, kill the Lord of the keep. So in this case, we just have to hold out. Deny them, deny them, deny them. I'm going to see if any of the Alliance guilds need a healer. I don't know if they do. I'm just gonna post it in open chat. Hey, does anybody need a healer? Healer? Okay, it's looking like maybe nobody needs a healer. We are severely outnumbered here. The maximum number of people who received invitations was 103 defenders, 128 attackers. There's always fewer defenders because the walls and the gates and all of that is a force multiplier. You know, having these walls is an advantage that is equal to, I believe the devs have set it as 1 warband. So you can have 24 more attackers maximum than the maximum number of defenders. In this case, they have 2 warbands more attackers than defenders, so that's an issue. We will have a hard time holding this keep. These keep doors on the Dark Elf keeps, yeah, look how thin this is. What is that, like 1.5 feet, right? And this is like maybe 3 feet, maybe. And it is a narrow door, but that doesn't matter. So what happens is it's a lot easier for the attackers to get in a 1-foot door and then spread out and start hitting the people that you have in here and defending. On the dwarf fortresses, the doorway itself is like 10 feet thick. And everybody's got this game has collision when there are enemies nearby. You can't move through friendly character models. So everybody gets stuck in this log jam trying to get through the door. And if the doorway itself is 10 feet deep, oh man, you can just melt them. Dark Elf keeps, not so much. The guildie invited me. Well, an alliance member. It's just the 2 of us. I need to turn this on. Oh shit, why did I do that? I need to take a pot. So, Ale Drinker here is a Chaos Chosen. He is a tank, although they do, like I said much earlier, there is a DPS variant, which focuses primarily on debuffing the enemy, and they do, you know, 50 to 70% of what a pure DPS class would do, even with their best possible gear. But they retain not all, but a lot of the survivability of a sword and board tank when they're in that spec. So that you know, that hybridness is especially good in small man, where you when you don't have a full warband, and so everybody has to sort of pull double duty. Healer and DPS, tank and DPS. And you can see my color coding here. I have this color coded. This is the enemy add-on for, because it replaces the standard unit frames from the game. And I have it color coded. Blue is tanks, orange is DPS, green are healers. These subdued or grayed out ones are out of my range. The guy who just turned red, he's dead. This guy's almost dead. These two are mostly in range. I can heal with single target heals out of my 6-man party, but my AoE heals only hit my 6-man party. So in this game, you typically want to build what they call the 2-2-2 party and or warband, where each party in the warband has 2 tanks, 2 heals, 2 DPS. The tanks have an ability called Guard. They will pick someone. You can see I have a little blue shield on these 2 people. So these 2 DPS are being guarded by these 2 tanks. They can't hot swap that mid-fight, which is nice. So like if I were to take a serious amount of damage, one of these tanks might, like right now, they should be guarding Twill, and Twill's dead. Where is Twill? I think I got pulled or something. Twill has released. I'm gonna go get a drink here and pause this recording while I do. I need to develop a pause screen with music or something. I'll be right back. Pause. Oh wow, are we actually whole? Nope. So they have 4 out of the 5 battlefield objectives. These stupid White Lions. So the Order have a class called the White Lion, which is a high elf class. It's currently the most brokenly overpowered class in the game. They, of course, say, "No, it's not. You guys are just wimps. You don't know how to beat us." And da-da-da-da-da. The truth is that they just have the most ridiculous toolkit in the game. They can leap to their target. They can pull their target, like a death grip from a Death Knight. They can send their pet in at great range to knock you down for 5 seconds. And not only that, they have the highest AoE melee DPS and the highest single target DPS, except possibly for a Witch Hunter. It's ridiculous. They're just the meme class. They like 3 buttons and they win. It's ridiculous. And their pets, I mean, this is an old game, and the pet pathing, the AI is buggy, so they can like send their pet through a wall, through a door to attack you. Which is why there are White Lions up here attacking people on top of this 50-foot high wall. Oh, outer door's down. I better get the heck inside, because they will soon be at this door ready to kill us. I'm going to set my rune down, my ritual. Oh, interesting, it doesn't show. Oh, because it's like a raised floor and it's a height collision issue there. Oh, we have nobody at postern. Awesome. So this is the main door. This little one back here is the postern door. We literally don't have enough people. I guess we're doing a third floor defense, which like never works. Never. So I left that. It's the typical Destro. can't work together. Half of them are sitting up there at the third floor. Half are at postern, half are not even in the keep because they want to farm kills outside. And what happens? All those separate groups get destroyed quite easily. As if clubbing baby seals. That is what it's like. So, I shall return. I used the stuck command twice, which sends you back to the original spawn point of your faction. For me, as a Chaos Zealot, that is out in Norska. I'm trying to remember if these are the guys that start the cloak quest. I don't remember. I'm going to reload my UI because it's bugged. I guess while I'm doing that, I should grab an avatar. Yeah. So, that's that. Could have sworn these crows were the things that started the tier 1 cloak. Okay, guess I'm wrong. Oh, I already did that. Huh. Alright, well, whatever. And we'll blow this up. And we'll blow this up. And we'll just sell that to a merchant. Oh, look, an egg! Will this be the one that has a mount? No. It will have a warp fire green dye.
Plunder, bought and sold.
Not every war camp has a flight master. This is the very first little war camp, like level 1 characters, so it does not have a flight master. It's a little like vanilla WoW, except it doesn't make you literally ride the bird for 10 minutes while slowly making it to wherever you want to go. There is not flying mounts in this game. If you get a mount that looks like a flying mount, it will still only be on the ground. But the flight masters here, you just get a quick little loading screen and then you are at the primary war camp in the zone that you want to go to. So you can leave from some of the smaller PvE war camps, but you can't fly to them. So like there's a flight master here in this chapter 2 camp, low level camp. There's this guy, this orc sitting on a Wyvern, and he'll let me fly to other zones like Inevitable City, but I can't fly back to him specifically. I can only fly to the primary war camp in the Norska zone where I just left from. So, I mean, is what it is. This is Inevitable City. It's all the cities are a little confusing at first because there's just a lot of things about this game that are carbon copies from something like WoW, and then there are a lot that are unique to this game. And you know, it's just different. So, fort is already over. I got a white bag. Whoop-de-doo! White bag will have the lowest possible rewards from an event. It has not yet arrived in the mail. So you can, if you're there and you can click on the gold chest, you can usually loot it, although sometimes fortress chests you can't actually loot it, but you will always get it sent to you in the mail if you can't loot it manually. So I just have to wait for that to show up in the mail. I am currently renown rank 65. I made a mistake, although I didn't know it was a mistake at the time, and I pre-purchased some of the pieces that would have been best in slot when I reach renown rank 80. But with the changes to the Rune Priest and Zealot abilities that just went live yesterday, or day before yesterday, I'm now kind of, I don't really know if those items are going to be best in slot anymore. If you look here at the tooltips, so this one, the Triumphant Shoulders, requires, you see it in red there, it requires renown rank 67. So since I'm only 65, I can't equip it. The hands and boots require 66. I could equip the belt now, but then I wouldn't get any set bonuses from one piece. It would break up the set bonus from one of my other pieces. So I've got 3 different sets on right now. I have 3 pieces of Beast Lord, which gives me 225 armor for the 3 pieces. I have 4 pieces of Sentinel, which gives me 58 willpower, 64 wounds, 70 initiative, in addition to, like, each item has its own stats. I have the Vanquisher. I have 3 pieces of Vanquisher, which gives me 62 willpower, 62 wounds. Wounds is like stamina in WoW. It directly correlates to hit points. And then I have 2-piece Genesis curative set, which gives me 37 willpower. So, and then these 2 weapons are, they're not part of a set. In fact, you know, they have nice stats. And they can be upgraded later, but that's like something to do after you've got the other expensive pieces, because they're still pretty good, even if you haven't upgraded them to the Fortress version. They're still pretty good. So, a full suit of Sovereign, the Sovereign armor set, Sovereign, it costs 10,333 war crests. Previously, I don't know if this is still true, previously, for Zealots, best in slot was not full Sovereign. You actually wanted a mix of Triumphant, which is why I bought 4 pieces ahead of time. A mix of Sovereign and Triumphant. And the Triumphant set is cheaper. So I don't actually know what the BIS would have cost. Unfortunately, one piece of the Triumphant set that like everybody needs is the ring, and the ring alone, the Triumph ring, is 9,999 crests. So that's usually the last thing that somebody gets. They get all the Sovereign armor pieces and the other Triumphant or Victorious or Warlord sets, And then they start the grind for the 10,000 crest ring. So I've already spent probably 3,500 crests. I have 1,550 waiting here. Sovereign, you can't even start equipping sovereign pieces. The lowest level sovereign piece is 65. And the highest level sovereign piece, or not 65, 75. And the highest level sovereign piece is 78. So I have 10 levels to grind out renown so that I can equip sovereign. And grind out not only the renown but also the crests to purchase it. So I got time. It's kind of hit or miss as a healer. Like if you're in a good warband, you can make crests and renown pretty quickly because you get a lot of contribution from healing. If you're just outnumbered and you're getting smashed all the time, and this is true of all classes, it seems like you're getting nowhere. Like today, I made 30%, 35% of one renown rank today because we were just losing, and or the order players were hiding inside of their keeps trying to force us to lay siege to their keep when we weren't really ready to. So they either starved us by not engaging us in fights, or they hit us in such overwhelming numbers that we just folded instantly and got no rewards, because you got to win to get rewards. So yeah, it's not easy being a Destro player. There are more people who play Destro, but they don't work together. So even though like numerically we might have an advantage of 20 or 30 or 40 people, none of them work together. So you're always going to be facing coordinated multiple groups from order, and you're probably going to be doing it with just your one group, and you're going to get crushed over and over and over during peak North American time. The server is hosted in Europe, and many of the developers are Europeans. The game Warhammer Fantasy Battles, which was created in the 1980s, that this game is based upon, was made by Games Workshop Limited in the United Kingdom. So this game was, available early on only in Europe. It didn't really become a thing in America until much later. So a lot of the fan base are Europeans and others, like there's a lot of Australians that play. There's a lot of Russians and Ukrainians and Czechs, Eastern European people too. The server itself, I don't know whether one of them owns the server or whether they're renting like a cloud server, but it's in France somewhere. So the ping sometimes from North America can be an issue. Like you're a few milliseconds behind somebody from Europe, so you think that you're behind them and you're going to backstab them, but in reality you're not behind them because you're 5 milliseconds behind. So that can be an issue. What else? Different factions seem to do better at different time frames. Destruction has a lot more players and good players during North American daytime when everybody's at work. And it dwindles, and then right around, dinner time for North America, order players start to log on in great numbers, and the better players who really know the game play during that time frame too. So yeah, it's hard to play Destruction if you live in North America because you're just always going to be on the back foot with one hand tied behind your back. Actually, two hands, because not only are you outnumbered and there aren't as many good players, but those players don't work together. So yeah, yep, that's the reality of it. I mean, and they know it, but like most of them won't admit it. You know, they want to blame, oh well, so and so guild is the reason why we lost that fight. Well, no, it was both of you. You wouldn't work with them because you wanted it your way. They wouldn't work with you because they wanted it their way. And God forbid there should be any compromise or cooperation. So PvP is a little dead right now. I think I'm going to call it. This is my first stream. I'm Old Grimner, and I will do more old gaming in the future. I hope you all enjoyed it. I hope somebody maybe learned it. Don't take anything that I said about Destro as a reason not to play it. You could be that person that comes in and becomes the glue that gets everybody together. You never know. You literally never know. So come play the game, and I'll see you around. Ta-ta.